Epic Universe has so much to offer, it can be hard to get everything done in a single day. Hello everybody, welcome. Today we're going to talk about the optimal paths and the recommendations to help you get the most out of your trip to this brand new park. Epic Universe has 11 attractions, 2 shows, 28 restaurants, 6 dedicated meet and greets, over 15 different stores, and lots of other things to offer. And for most people going to Epic Universe, it's probably going to be your first time ever seeing this park. So knowing what to do and where to go can be a bit challenging to make sure that you get the most out of your day. Today, we are going to cover the optimal path. This is my recommendation based on all of my visits, all of my experience, and the data, and when those attractions are going to have less of a wait. Now, this optimal path is the brand new 2026 updated version. This accounts for all the new changes to entry and early entry procedures and the new wait times and how the attractions have changed. And with the capacity upgrades that have happened, this should be the optimal perfect plan for you. Now, I'm going to use one path to rule them all, whether you are an early entry guest or a non-early entry. Early entry is for guests that have stayed at a Universal hotel, any hotel on property. You're going to get early entry, which is an extra hour in the park in the mornings where certain things are open. For everyone else, they're not going to be able to ride those attractions until early entry is over. However, believe it or not, whether you are an early entry guest or a non-early entry guest, there is one path that works for everybody. Currently, Epic Universe's hours vary slightly depending on the day and the time of the year. For the purposes of this video, we're going to use the time frame of opening for early entry at 9 o'clock a.m. and closing at 10 p.m. So let's get started. Number one, I'm just going to say it and get it out of the way. Eat your breakfast before you arrive. Don't be fumbling around in Epic Universe in the early morning hours trying to find breakfast. This is the most important time of your visit to Epic Universe to get as much done as possible is in those first couple of hours at the park, and you don't want to be wasting time finding food. All right, early entry. Again, 9 o'clock a.m. for the purposes of this video. So now this early entry procedures has changed a lot since the park opened. It's changed quite frequently. Not only have the attractions changed that were part of early entry, but what portals were part of early entry and even the procedures for getting into the park. But as of today, this is the current procedure. I was just at the parks yesterday. Let's talk a little bit about the early entry and what is open. Super Nintendo World is one of the portals that will be open for early entry. That's Mario Kart, Bowser's Challenge, and Yoshi's Adventure. You've also got Celestial Park attractions that are open, Stardust Racers, and the Constellation Carousel. Dark Universe is going to have Monsters Unchained, The Frankenstein Experiment, and Curse of the Werewolf. So when the floodgates open, what attraction should you go to first? This is the biggest choice you will have to make in this plan. It seems like a stupid question if you're an early entry guest because you're thinking, I got to do the early entry attractions first, right? This is where everybody gets tripped up in this plan. Let me explain. Though only certain attractions are open for early entry, there are other attractions that, while technically not open, they are open enough to allow you to get in line for those attractions. That's where this whole thing for early entry falls apart. So even if you are not an early entry guest, you can enter the park as soon as they let anybody in, no matter if it's early entry guest or not, and you can go straight to an attraction if it's not eligible for early entry, which means you can go straight to Battle at the Ministry in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic, even without early entry. This attraction has one of the worst wait times in the park, and you will probably be waiting at least 2 to 3 hours or more for this attraction, unless you get it done right out of the gate. To add insult to injury, Express Pass is now available for Ministry of Magic, which has even extended the wait time even worse than it has been in the past. So it is for this reason that I have been and will continue to recommend the very first attraction that you should head to as a non-early entry guest is Ministry of Magic. That line will fill up instantaneously. And I want to make sure there is a caveat here. This means that you are actually rope dropping. And I don't mean rope dropping meaning you are at the back of this giant pack of people who are rope dropping. I mean you got there early enough to where you are near the front of the pack when they open up security and the ticketing, and you can go straight to Ministry of Magic. If you want to know more about exactly how early entry works, I have a time-stamped video of minute-by-minute playbook that I will link to down below that explains exactly how the early entry works. So you might be asking, why not go to Minecart Madness? There's a reason. If you are a non-early entry guest, you cannot get into the Super Nintendo World portal. Now, for early entry guests, this is your big choice. Do I do Minecart Madness, or do I do Battle with the Ministry? I would say that's a choice you have to make for yourself on which one you feel like is the better choice, which is the one that you absolutely have to ride, and choose that. Because Minecart Madness is not an early entry attraction, which means you need to go straight to Minecart Madness and wait in line, which means you're still not taking advantage of Super Nintendo World being open early. If by some miracle you get on Minecart Madness, if it opens a little bit earlier, and you get off of Minecart Madness before early entry ends, then you can definitely hit Bowser's Challenge and get that out of the way before the line gets too long. So that is a benefit if you are early entry, but it's also a risk. But again, my recommendation, regardless, is to go to Battle with the Ministry. Battle with the Ministry may open early, and usually does unless there's something wrong with the attraction. In my experience, I've gone there multiple times, went straight to Ministry of Magic, and I was off of Battle with the Ministry by 9:30 or 9:45 a.m. before early entry was even over. In which case, I was then able to go directly to the next place that I would want to visit, which we'll talk about. So let me just throw up the plan here. Again, my recommendation, Battle at the Ministry right out of the gate. So I've got that marked as 9 a.m. right when the early entry starts. You're able to get out there, get in line for it, and wait for it. In most reasonable situations, as long as you were near the front of the pack, and as long as it opens reasonably on time, you will be done with Ministry of Magic, Battle at the Ministry, by 10 a.m. I know a lot of people say Battle with the Ministry if you just wait until later in the evening. A lot of people get on me for this, and they comment and they say, if you just wait till later in the evening, Battle with the Ministry is only a 20-30 minute wait. I have been there where that is true, but I've also been there a lot of times where it is a 120 to 180 minute wait consistently the entire day all the way through close. So again, it is a risk. So now here we are, 10 o'clock a.m. Next choice is Hiccups Wing Gliders, straight to How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk. It's right there on the same side of the park. It's not a lot of travel to get down there. You don't have to cross over the entire park. Just go straight down How to Train Your Dragon and go to Hiccups Wing Gliders. That is going to be an attraction that's going to have a longer wait throughout the day, and it's one that I definitely recommend knocking out early, and it's also one that you're probably going to end up wanting to ride more than once. And that should take you till probably 11 o'clock a.m. or less. And then from 11 to 1 o'clock, my recommendation is hang out in Isle of Berk, grab some lunch, do some shopping, maybe do some of the other attractions. I recommend skipping Dragon Racers Rally because it is really not worth the time. It has a long wait, low capacity. Fire Drill, I also recommend skipping unless you got extra time if you don't like to get wet. If you love getting wet and you're hot and you want to get drenched, Fire Drill's great. Go ahead and knock it out while you're there. This is also the time period where I recommend getting Untrainable Dragon, the show, done. It's a fantastic show. It's the better show of the two shows in the park, in my opinion, and you should have plenty of time in this 2-hour window to get food, get the show done, maybe get an attraction done, and be ready to move on. At 1 o'clock, I recommend hitting Stardust Racers. This again on the same side of the park. It's just right up from Isle of Berk. Just make a detour over to Stardust and hop on it. You probably can ride it 2 times if you want. Ride both sides, yellow and green, within that time period between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock. If the line is super long, you might want to just hit it once and come back later, because I've built time into the schedule for you to also ride Stardust Racers at night, which I highly recommend doing. Now from 2 to 4 o'clock, you're going to shift over now to the other side of the park. At this time of day, Monsters Unchained is probably going to run you maybe 30 minutes, maybe 45. The only time it will be higher is if the attraction has broke down at some point in the early morning hours or afternoon. Then that wait time can get up to 45 to 60 minutes. If it hasn't broke down and it's running smoothly, it's going to be 15 to 30 minutes. Curse of the Werewolf's probably going to run you 60 minutes, to be honest. It's probably going to take you some time. If it's had problem, it's going to be worse. But I would say 60 minutes or less is what you should expect. I was just there. I rode it, had no problem. It said 60 minutes, only took me about 45 to get through the line. So from 2 to 4 o'clock, stay in Dark Universe, get everything done in that space, do the meet and greets there. This is when the characters are out roaming. Maybe grab a snack. I highly recommend Burning Blade Tavern. They have an amazing, actually everything they have there is amazing, but the garlic steak is fantastic. DeLacy's Cottage right next door has amazing cinnamon bites, which are fantastic. So this is a good time to get some snacks. Also a great time to grab some drinks if you're interested in that. Now, from 4 to 5 o'clock, I recommend heading back over to the Ministry of Magic to catch Le Cirque Arcanu. That is a decent show. I do enjoy it. It can take a while to get through that show. So if you go from 4 to 5, most of your time is going to be spent doing that show. If you're not interested in the show, I would spend that hour sort of enjoying the area, exploring, maybe doing some wand interactive experiences. Just kind of make some choices about what you're going to spend that hour on in that area. 5 to 8 o'clock, we're finally headed over to Super Nintendo World. I can say that I almost never step foot into Super Nintendo World until 4 or 5 o'clock at night. All the times I've been there, it just doesn't make sense to go there earlier. It gets absolutely hammered. Everybody and their brother goes over there, and it will be crowded there the entire day. There will never be a point in the day where you walk over there and you think it's empty, but I highly recommend saving it until later because number one, less people will be there. Number two, they got great dinner stuff that you can grab over there. And number three, you're going to want to see it in the daytime and the nighttime because it's a different experience both times. 5 to 8 o'clock p.m. For most days of the year, you're going to get to see daylight and evening hours as far as what it looks like. So at this point, in this 3-hour block of window, grab some dinner wherever you want. Toadstool Cafe, they got some great grab and go bites. This is going to be your time frame for doing Bowser's Challenge. It's going to take you 45 to 60 minutes on average. If it's less, great. And time to hit Minecart Madness. Now this is going to be tough. I'm going to tell you this right now. That line is diabolical and will be all the time. It never goes down. The only time you will see a lower wait time on Minecart Madness is if it was down and just happened to come up. And then you'll think, oh, it says 15 minutes, and you rush over there. By the time you get over there, it's actually a 2-hour wait. Like, it is always packed, and it is on Express Pass, which just makes it even worse because the capacity of that ride is 0. So you got 3 hours to try to get Bowser's Challenge done and Minecart Madness, and I'm just gonna warn you, just when you think Minecart Madness, the line can't get any worse, you're gonna turn a corner and there's gonna be more line. And when you think it can't get worse, you're gonna turn a corner and there's gonna be more line. So just prepare yourself, but 3 hours to get those 2 attractions done, I think is reasonable. I've done it, not a problem, as long as it doesn't go down a lot. Meet and greets should still be popping off during this time. You got Princess Peach, Donkey Kong, you got Mario, Luigi, Toad, lots of meet and greets in that area. You should be able to see those. And if you have the Power Band, you can do lots of interactive games. Even if you don't have the Power Band, you can do a lot of interactive games in this space. Just explore it over the next 3 hours. We're now into the evening hours. It's starting to get dark out. This is time again now. Dark Universe. Back to Dark Universe. It's on the same side as Super Nintendo World. Just a quick jaunt up over to Dark Universe, and getting to see that at night is on another level. So just explore, hang out. I recommend Monsters Unchained again at nighttime. And that's really because it's probably a 15-minute wait by this point. Maybe walk on. I've had it be walk on this late at night. So why not just ride it a couple of times while you're there for this hour? On average, I'll tell you, using my plan, I usually ride Monsters Unchained 5, 6, or 7 times in a single day. Now from 9 to 10 o'clock, this is going to be sort of up to you. You can repeat some of your favorite attractions. Again, I recommend Stardust at night. Go over there, grab it. It should be a 15-minute to walk on wait this late at night, so you could probably get it done several times if you want. There's water shows going off in front of the Helios Grand. You can watch those water shows. Maybe do Constellation Carousel if you want, but I'll say the wait is usually really long. I recommend skipping it. Do it another day. Now that's the overall plan. A few recommendations to help you on your way. Number 1, be prepared to pivot. Attractions go down, you gotta pivot. Look at the plan, think about it, what would be the next most logical thing to do, and go there. Again, if you're running low on time, skip Lacerk Arcanu, Constellation Carousel, Yoshi's Adventure, Fire Drill, and Dragon Racers Rally. I also recommend skipping the sit-down restaurants, the Atlantic and the Blue Dragon. The Blue Dragon's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal restaurant. I just recommend skipping it because it's gonna burn at least an hour or more of your time. Do it on another day. For food choices, I recommend the Mead Hall in Isle of Berk. Pizza Moon is phenomenal. I think it's the best theme park pizza in the world. It's just absolutely amazing. Oak and Star Tavern, Toadstool Cafe, and Das Steakhouse. For snacks, again, Burning Blade Tavern, DeLacy's Cottage there in Dark Universe, and I recommend Spitfire Grill over in Isle of Berk for the mac and cheese cones. Now, if you are interested in more food content and want to know more recommendations on food, definitely check out my other channel, Eat the Magic, on YouTube and on TikTok. We do a lot of shorts and a lot of TikToks about the food at different places like Epic Universe. If you're into food, check out Eat the Magic. The last thing I recommend is shop Celestial Park after the park closes. You got time, you got at least an hour to shop after the park closes. Enjoy that. Watch a little bit of the water shows right there as the night ends. Grab some shopping, do it all after the park closes to save you even more time. So that's my plan. I'll throw it up again here, give you that last overview. You can see it in a single snapshot. This is the plan. I have used it. I've used it every time I've gone to the park. It has been phenomenal. So if you use this plan, be sure to come back and comment. Let me know how it worked out for you. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. If you got any ideas, suggestions, feel free to drop me a line. Love to hear from you. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this with all your friends. This could help them out if they're going to Epic Universe. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Till I see you next time, the noble way is the easy way. Bye-bye, everybody.